One thing we can all agree on is that our 20s are extremely hard. I mean, spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally, it can get challenging around these parts, which is why on this episode of Empowered and Prepared, we hosted licensed therapist with her own practice, Shelly Quiles, and she gave us a lot of insight into how we can get past these years and still come out okay on the other side, because we can. So without further ado, we're going to hop right into this video. Hey y'all, this is Sullivan Anderson with True Star Media, and welcome to Empowered and Prepared, which is a visual podcast dedicated to inspiring young people like yourselves to be your very best self. And today we are hosting none other than an influential therapist. Her name is Shelly Quiles, and she has her very own practice called Explore Therapy, and she is also a licensed social worker. Shelly, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so we're going to talk first about your entrance to adulthood, your early 20s. Tell us a little bit about how you got into therapy.
So that was a journey. I did not know I was going to be a therapist when I grew up, and I actually went to college after high school and pursued business, and I wasn't a fan. So I quickly decided I got to follow some dreams here.
Okay.
And I had a few friends that were losing a roommate in New York. And so I actually moved to New York, took an internship at a theater.
Okay.
And the rest is kind of history. It wasn't a direct path, but I ended up working for the theater and then auditioning and pursuing acting. It didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. I saw myself doing all kinds of theater and TV spots and all of that. And there were things that like it was calling me to do that I was like, this just isn't my values. This isn't really what I want to do in terms of like giving up parts of myself. So I pivoted and I started working as a clown on Long Island. I was the only black clown on Long Island in like 2002. And it was great. It was really good money because people pay a lot of money for, private party things and all
entertainment.
that. And then I actually ran out of money. So I ended up getting an opportunity to work at a temp agency that had a really good relationship with the University of Cornell, or the Cornell Medical School.
Okay.
And so I ended up getting a really good job, which worked out because I got married and then I got pregnant and I needed benefits. So it wasn't the job of my dreams. It was like, okay, I just got to figure this out and, hustle. But I still had this kind of like passion for acting and that sort of thing. So I came back to Chicago. I visited my family. My mom, who is a clinical psychologist, she asked me to sit with the kids and do some of the like magic tricks that I knew and face painting, and it really lit up their life. Like they were just like, oh my God, this is so fun. I had little games and just things that they could play, and it was like an interruption to a hard life. They had been separated from their families, living with strangers, extremely traumatized. To be able to come into that environment and play and have fun, it was actually changing me. Like that. I think I was helping to transform them and like give them hope, but they were giving me hope of like, wow, my dreams don't have to die. Like I can do something really meaningful and help someone. And so that actually converted into me moving back to Chicago and getting a contract with Chicago Public Schools to do this work more frequently, and like to go in and teach classes. We were seeing that kids were doing better in their classes. They were able to cooperate with teachers and get along with peers, that doing something that expressed themselves and allowed them to manage their self-regulation was actually giving them new tools, and they weren't feeling as like disconnected from themselves or dissociating or just acting out in classrooms. It started making me realize, like, I need to know more about like why this is working, why is this impactful. So I went back to school, I got my master's, I went to University of Chicago, and that was actually a shocker. I didn't even think I could get in. I never did well in like, I was never a straight A student, but I got to University of Chicago, I started getting straight A's. It was something I was so passionate about, and I loved what I was studying. It actually low-key radicalized me. I was seeing like the ways that oppression and racism and all these systems, I was literally reading the literature for like how these systems are like stacked against communities of color, Black communities. And our first book was The New Jim Crow. They made us read that before we entered, and it had just come out. So it was such a like crazy time, because it was just like, the world is messed up. Like, we need social workers. We need people who are interested in like making this place a better place. And at the same time, I just really had a heart for children who had experienced a lot of trauma, and like seeing the light go out of their eyes and helping it to come back was like, I just want to be a part of this. Like, I want to see people come back to life. So I ended up starting a private practice. That was a long story, I know.
No, but we all need it. And something that I heard, a common thread throughout the story, is all your jobs were linked back to your purpose. Even with you being a clown on Long Island, like, you were bringing joy to people's lives. That's what actors do. That's what you're doing as a social worker and a therapist. So my question is, for those of us who are in our early 20s, everybody's trying to figure it out right now. Me personally, I just graduated college, and you know, I'm on a new trajectory. Some of us have new jobs, some of us are moving to new cities. We're just trying to figure it out. So what words of encouragement would you offer to somebody who's in that transition period of their lives?
Well, just speaking directly to you, I want to say, like, you're doing journalism, you're doing it. You know, like, I know sometimes we measure, are we getting there? Are we going there? Am I on the right track? But you're right now, in this moment, you're making it happen. And the money will come. You know, I know sometimes it's just like, well, I'm never going to get paid for this. Be about your money. Do not let anybody tell you, oh, don't worry about the money. It will come, but stay focused on making sure it comes. Right? Like, don't take low pay. Don't take things that underpay you or undervalue you just to take it. You know, have a mission in mind. I'm taking this because I'm going to pivot to that. I'm going to go there. Like, think about your trajectory with what you're doing financially. But you're more than who you are financially. You are a spiritual being. You are an emotional being. You have a logic mind to who you are. You need to take care of all those parts of yourself. You need to be thinking about those parts of yourself, thinking about your values, thinking about, like, is this really aligned with who I want to be and show up in the world as? Does this take me to where I want to go? And that requires being still. Doing is so easy, but being is really hard. Being in a difficult space, even sometimes being in joy, it's like, okay, what's next?
Right.
We want to kind of move to the next thing. But when you can be still, when you can, like, just stop no matter what is going on and just say, these are the things I'm grateful for. These are the things I feel fulfilled with, right? And there's things I want to change. There's things I want. I have ambitions. I'm looking at that person. How do they have that? How do I get it? We do this, right, as humans. We want more for ourselves all the time. And it's not a bad thing. You know, developmentally, we should want to grow, right? I saw someone say something on a podcast. He said, trees don't say, okay, I'm going to stop right here. That's it. I'm not going to grow anymore. They just keep going.
Yes.
There was a story once called it was about the biodome, and it was about a perfect set of conditions. It had perfect soil, perfect temperature, all the nutrients and minerals that were necessary for life to develop. And in that biodome, everything was like beautiful and amazing, but the trees kept flopping over, and they couldn't figure out, why are the trees flopping over? And what it was missing was wind. And wind creates resistance in objects. When wind pushes against a tree, their roots go deeper. And it's actually an object lesson about when we're in a struggle, when we're in something that is creating resistance in us, or something that challenges us, this is not a bad thing, right? It can seem like this is the end, this is it, it's over, it's not gonna work out, but it's actually our roots going deeper, so that when we get to where we need to be, we don't collapse and fall over. We can keep going higher. So if you're going through something that's really difficult, especially in your 20s, it hasn't, your story is just now being written. Like, you have so much life ahead of you. It is why it is such a tragedy when someone at this age is gone, because there's so much more, there's so much potential, there's so much life out there. So if you're struggling, if you're not sure, if you're not certain, that's okay, because your roots are going deeper. Who you are, who you're becoming is solidifying. It's a good thing.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So you spoke about gratitude in your last answer. You talked about the fact that you should just be grateful for where you are right now, and resilience only makes you stronger. It grows your roots deeper, which is something that we really all need to hear. So that segues into my next question about social media, because it obviously has a very big presence in today's generation, and I know a lot of us, like you said, have a natural tendency to compare ourselves to other people. What advice would you give to somebody who is looking to social media to use it in a positive way?
Yeah, I think social media is a tool, and it has a lot of value and benefit. It can also be a tremendous distraction and disruption to like how we perceive the real world, right? Because it's edited, it's curated, it's controlled, it's designed, right? And real life, unfortunately, is not that. It's not always that way. But I think, because there's so much influence in what we're even able to see, you can actually control the algorithms that come your way by what you desire to eat, right? In terms of like your eye gates and like what you're absorbing and what you hear and listen to. So I think it is good to really think about yourself, like what brings me pleasure, peace, like psychological harmony with my body, because our bodies and our brains are, they have a very symbiotic connection, so you can have a thought about something, or you can have a experience physically about something before you think about it, right? And this kind of goes to like triggers, where you see something or you hear something or you smell something, taste something. It's our senses are like being lit up. You can experience something and then you start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not safe. Or, oh my gosh, the last time this happened, such and such happened, right? We go into this automatic thinking of like something bad is about to happen. But it's really your body that's giving you the alarm, the alert system. And your body will tell you like, get out of there. That is not for you, because last time, remember, like, your body's like, hey girl, don't do that. don't listen to that. So when our body is able to be completely in sync with our brain, and we're able to be really like, okay, I know what I want, I know what I need to do. That is like your true self. Your self is like being able to be creative, being able to figure things out, sort out this is the decision I want to make. I can make a decision. I can assess, did I like that? I did. Keep going. I didn't. Change my mind, right? Like your body your body and your mind are right in sync with each other. You are designed for a purpose, but your purpose may not be the exact same thing for the rest of your life, right? Within your purpose, there might be multiple purposes. And I know that happened to me, right? Like I was where I was supposed to be for the time I was supposed to be in it. I was helping people learn to read and write their stories and express themselves. And then that season ended and I was on to the next thing. But I was able to be in a different role, a different job, while still doing my purpose. And I'm really grateful. I believe in God. No disrespect to anyone who doesn't. We're all on our own journey, but I believe in God. I feel like God led me to be in every situation I was supposed to be in, even though I didn't know where I was going and I didn't know what I was doing. Social media can allow you to see lots of different worlds all at once and really pick out what is it that really resonates with me. Utilize it, use it. Don't be like, oh, that's just so horrible. Like there's a lot of junk on social media, but even in the junk, we can learn things. You can literally take anything and understand something deeper from it. And so it's giving yourself permission to learn from what you take in and not just, being fed the fodder and turning that into negative cognitions that you also spout towards other people. But if you can really take it and learn something from it, like, oh, look at the production quality, or look at the opportunities that this person is showing me, it's really a wonderful tool that you can use.
Yes, I love that. And I'm so glad you touched on purpose again, because that was going to be what my next question was about, how you found your purpose in different ways throughout your life. So I think it's really easy to get caught in the daily hustle and bustle of life. And you in your early adulthood, just trying to make it. So how did you identify exactly what your purpose was, and what advice do you have to anybody who's still trying to figure that out for themselves?
Well, we kind of talked about being still. For me, prayer and meditation have given me an opportunity to listen to myself and also to ask God, I don't know what's next. Do you know that this past weekend I was praying and I was just like, God, there are things that I want to do, but I don't know what the steps are to make that happen. I don't even know what it looks like, but just open a door and help me walk through it. And then you guys started texting me, emailing me.
Wow.
To interview me.
Wow.
And this is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to work in production with people, just hanging out.
You're right. Yeah.
So I do believe that listening to yourself, being still, being quiet, giving yourself kind of the permission to let your own creativity come to the surface. We all have that. I mean, if we really think about it, we have so many beings in this world that are just fascinating. Within each of our vessels is just all this life, all these ideas and imaginations and worlds. We all literally have a whole world inside of us, and it's ever expanding as we allow ourselves to grow. But sometimes we've heard things, we've been told things, we've been taught things to believe that well, that's just not true about me. That can only happen for that person, or there's nothing left for me, or I'm not enough, right? We hear ideas that make us believe that we're less than what we're worthy of. And it's not true, but because we started to gaslight ourselves, we live into it.
Yes.
So then now we make it true by our own behavior, by how we treat ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, and even what we put in our body, right? Because when you won't settle you change like what you're going to listen to. You'll change what you're going to search for on, you know, different platforms, because it's like, yeah, I don't really want that mess inside of me.
Exactly.
I'm looking for this.
Right. No negativity. I love that. And you talked about, you know, letting go. I'm hearing that as you're talking, whether it's knowing when to pivot, because like you said, your purpose can be served in many different entities, knowing that you had such a journey with going from acting to, you know, social work and therapy and entrepreneurship, or whether you're letting go of those negative narratives that people try to put on you throughout your life. What would you say are some tangible steps that somebody who's listening right now, who's struggling with maybe some type of self-doubt, or they want to pivot but they don't know how, what are some steps that they can take to really just let go and trust the process?
I write, so I would always say, get you either a pen and paper, get your phone out, type a draft email, or go into your notes and just start writing your ideas. If you don't have any ideas, because sometimes, you know, people just feel like, I can't even think of anything. I just feel so stuck. Talk about that, right? Like, write it down, because you can unstuck yourself.
Yes.
By just starting where you are. There's an Arthur Ashe quote that says, start where you are, use what you have, do what you got to do. And it's like, if you can just start by writing down, you know, even just a dream, right? A goal that you have for yourself. And then even breaking that down into smaller goals. Well, I want this goal, but then to get to that goal, I kind of need to do these goals. Don't expect yourself to get to step 10, right? Start at step 1 and go to step 2, right? Like, give yourself the permission to take each baby step. Work all your steps, and then look back at your situation and say, okay, where am I now? What do I need to like shift? What do I need to do more of? Do I need to call someone in to help me? Like, be fair to yourself that some of our goals are not, it's not a one-man show, right? We need help. So put it in something like a phone or paper or a computer or whatever, you know, like, get it down, look at it, review it, give yourself the space to say, okay, this is what I want to do, right? Also, give yourself permission to fail. We learn so much through our mistakes, and we don't get a lot of permission to do that as kids, because you make a mistake, you get in trouble.
Right.
But there are so many things you learn when you don't get it right the first time. And it's okay, you know, like, it doesn't feel good, but you then start to like get your weight up and figure out like, okay, I'm gonna do it differently the next time.
Yes, I love that. And that's something that we all need to hear, especially in today's day and age. It's okay to fail. It's okay. Fail fast, fail forward, and go to the next step. You got to.
Fail up.
Yes. Don't look at it as a defeat and you just, you got to get back up. So I want to close out by just asking you, what is some advice that you would give to the young adult that's working and striving towards their goals, and they're putting in the work and trying to be 1% better every day, and they're journaling and they're doing the work, and it's just not working out? They're not meeting their goals as fast as they want to. What would you say to that person?
That is such a discouraging place.
It is.
It's like, I'm doing everything and it's not happening. It's like you're in the last final stretch. You know, like, sometimes it looks like I've done everything. Donnie McClurkin has a song, after you've done all you can, stand. Don't give up. Don't back down. You're almost there. It looks like it's not going to break. It looks like it's not going to open up. Stand in what you're doing. Don't waver. You know, keep your mind focused. That can be the most discouraging place, because you've done all you can do. Yes. Right? And I think when we do everything we can do, it feels like, well, then maybe it's not meant to be, and it may be calling you to shift, right? Like, this isn't for you, but don't also discount what you've accomplished, right? Look back, take yourself out for a treat. Give yourself a reward. Remind yourself, like, no, I got this done. I got that done. And there can be just kind of a season of prairie where it's like everything's flat and it doesn't seem like it's moving. But just keep going. Just keep going. I remember my dad has a very successful construction company that employs some of the highest amounts of Black men and women in the city. And he said, you know what commitment is? It's going in the same direction for a very long time. And he didn't have easy years all the time. It wasn't all roses when, he was trying to create jobs, living wage jobs for people of color, getting into unions. Unions would say you have to be blood related. Oh yeah, so we could always keep you locked out. So, he was trying to break into something that was like, we don't want you here. We don't want you to have these, opportunities. And he just stayed committed, and he just kept going, and he just kept going and going. And his company is actually the minority participation for the Obama Center now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he didn't give up.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that we definitely all need to hear. You heard it here first. Do not give up. Don't give up. It may look tough. It may look like you're not getting anywhere, but those are very wise words. So there we have it. Shelly Quiles, thank you so much for these wise words. I know this conversation really touched my heart. Okay. Like it did. No, I really needed to hear this, and I feel like this is something that everybody needs to hear. So thank you.
Thank you. You've been an amazing host.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is Sullivan Anderson with True Star Media. And remember, it's never too late to lock in. This was a great conversation, and I hope that you all got just as much from it as I did. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know who else you want to see us host. This is Sullivan Grace with True Star Media signing out.